whatever. Literally in the middle of nowhere.
I forgot. I didn't even know where you're going.
We're pulling up. We're literally just rounding, and all of a sudden, far distance, I see this car.
Yeah.
Right. I'm coming up on Christian, and I know it's him, and so I'm speeding up, and I'm trying to get his attention. I'm looking over to the window, and I'm literally going the exact same speed. You know when you're like driving, and you see a car that matches your speed, and you're like, "The freak are you doing, dude? Like, leave me alone." You know?
Yeah.
You had no idea I was there. It was 60 seconds of me trying to do this, and Ashlyn was like, he obviously is not paying attention. Let's just go. I'm like, no, I have to. I'm honking. Ashlyn's window is down. Her hair's blowing everywhere. And I'm like, hello. Trying to get your attention, bro. Mm-hmm. You were not paying any attention. And I was trying to get your attention. Finally, right before, the only reason you decided to like look over to the left is because your exit was coming up. And you were like, you're looking around, and finally you're like, okay. Ashlyn's like, was that worth it? I'm like, no, it wasn't. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the 480 Show. We're excited to have you here. This episode is brought to you by Pit Boss. We will talk a little bit more about Pit Boss later in the episode, so stay tuned for that. But for now, make sure to check out pitboss-grills.com to learn more. Again, that is pitboss-grills.com to learn more. You know, ever since I lost my tooth, ever since I yanked it, I feel like I can't say those things without it, like, whooshing through my teeth all weird.
Don't talk about your none.
Stop. I'm insecure about it. I said that in slight confidence that you might be like, oh, that's okay, dude. It's a good thing I'm on the show. Yeah, dude. I got my tooth yanked. I didn't even talk to you about it, huh? Because that was the first step. No, I know I told you about it, but when we did the podcast, I ended up rescheduling the first one.
Yeah, because
I got my tooth yanked, and I was half depressed and half in pain.
Yeah.
And I was like, seriously in a bad way, like with my, I felt like seriously depressed. I'm like, my tooth is gone and it will never be back. I don't know why, dude. It threw me for a loop, dude. Like, just messes with you. Can you imagine if someone just yanked out your tooth? It's just gone. You can't change it.
Yeah.
I'm never growing a new one. And now I have to pay a lot of money to get a fake one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to look better than my other teeth, but fake nonetheless. For now, I just got a big old gap. Look, luckily it's like far back. Unless I like really lose it on a laugh, you can't see it. So that's also playing a part into my emotions lately, because I can't like laugh too hard because I'm like hyper aware of where my lips are.
Crooked?
No, I just don't laugh loud. No, I'll just keep my lip kind of pushed down, so I feel like I can't fully enjoy myself because I can't fully smile. Otherwise, you'll think I'm from, a trailer park.
Dude, mom's got an Invisalign right now.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, she was talking to me at the house. I'm like, why are you talking?
Why are you lisping?
I was like, why are you lisping? And then I realized.
She's like, I'm so excited for Kate's wedding.
Poor mom.
No, she, all the girls in our family have had Invisalign, I feel like. Well, I say all the girls. Savannah and Sadie had Invisalign.
Dude, we just need to force Dad. We just need to shove it. We just need to shove it in his mouth, dude.
Literally every single episode, we have something to say about
Dude,
Dad.
Mom's getting braces, and she is going.
Not braces.
She's going.
Invisalign are not braces,
bro. It is just as good.
I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm just saying they're not braces.
Yeah, it's gonna fix the crowding in her teeth, and she's gonna love every second and every
but like
dime she spent on it will be worth it.
With Invisalign though, because like you have a permanent retainer, right?
I have two permanent retainers.
Yeah, to help your teeth stay the way that your braces fixed them, right?
It's kind of gimmicky, but whatever.
What?
Well, my bottom retainers popped off like freaking.
Really?
Well, portions of it, the glue's popped off. Like
your teeth are just like not.
Well, I have permanent retainers, but I also have two nighttime retainers, two night guards that
you don't wear,
that you're supposed to wear at night, but I don't wear, and so
wasting your money.
One of my tooth on the bottom is kind of like turning, and so it popped off the glue on my permanent. I have glue on each tooth on my permanent retainers. My top one's no issues, but I've always had issue with my bottom teeth crowding super heavy. So my bottom ones are wanting to shift back.
Yeah.
And so because I'm not wearing my nighttime, it's affected it. It's just really just laziness. But
dude, it's crazy how like your teeth have their own mind. Like they move and they shift so fast. So what I didn't realize, I got my tooth yanked, right? And I'm learning that if you lose the tooth on top, you essentially lose the tooth on bottom because there's no counterforce, right? So like your bite down here can get a little soft, right? Yeah. So it's important that you actually get another thing in there so that you can like resume normal chewing and like strengthen your jaw and stuff. Since I got my tooth yanked, I've literally broken floss strips because I can't get anything in between my back two molars. It has shifted so much. I'll push the thing in between my teeth and it will break the freaking floss strip. I can't get it in there. Which I'm like, not
water pick on Costco.
I don't even think that would penetrate it, dude. Yeah. It is tight.
The water picks are dope.
Definitely no food's getting in there. I'll tell you that much. If I can't shove a thin piece of floss through there, there's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way. But yeah. Anyway, dude, I'm wondering. I just had an epiphany right now. I wonder if all the cavities over the years came because I started getting cavities after I got my wisdom teeth out.
Okay.
I wonder if that made a difference somehow with like the way my bottom teeth are, because the dentist always said that like my teeth, I didn't like, even though I didn't floss as a kid, that I never got cavities. He thought because my teeth were so tight together, like they were really like smushed.
Yeah, he'll get braces. He'll fix that real quick.
I'm just saying that was a thing, but now that's a good thing.
No, you need some space. Crowding's what causes plaque and cavities.
Crowding, but like if they're pushed together super hard, there's no food that's getting in between there.
Yeah, but plaque builds up still.
Yeah,
and that will.
But
if you
cavities. If you get your normal teeth cleaning, then
yeah.
Anyway, I digress. That's a theory that I have. I mean, other than I sleep with my mouth open, so I've been taping my mouth shut for a few weeks now. It's weird. It's a good time, dude.
Creepy as hell, dude.
It's not. I mean, it's a little weird. I felt weird the other day.
That's how I'd wake up, just in a struggle, dude.
Oh, dude. No, it's...
Can't freaking breathe.
It is not like what you think. It's not at all.
It's like
I felt weird.
Horror movie, dude.
Talking about a horror movie. So the other day... So Beck's been sick for like the last little while. The other day, Ash wakes me up. She elbows me, right? Because Beckham was coughing. I was like, go check on Beck really fast. And I was like, okay. But I had my mouth taped. So poor Beckham, dude, laying in his crib. All of a sudden, I walk in there with my mouth taped. I'm like looking over the bed, and he was awake because he was coughing so much. And I like put him back up on the pillow and stuff. Meanwhile, I'm not saying anything because I can't. My lips are taped together, and he's just looking up at me like,
yeah, dude. Scarring that kid.
That was so, yeah. I felt really weird in that moment. I was like, oh, I should take this off. But then I'm like, no, I'm not wasting 3 pieces of tape. So.
It's disgusting.
What? It's not disgusting.
Tape your mouth, dude.
It's a big thing. So I'll tell you this. It is a really big movement out there. Companies like Hostage Tape, I'll tag you in this video. I'll tell you right now, people that tape their mouth shut, do you know what it does for you? It clears your when you breathe through your nose.
I'm going to tell you right now, I can't breathe through my nose.
That's because you probably you breathe too much through your mouth. That's the problem.
Die in my sleep.
No, you wouldn't.
I would.
Because your brain after like 5 to 7 minutes starts to recognize that you're going to be breathing through there. It starts to clear the airway for you.
I have a deviated septum, bro.
It will become undeviated.
No, it won't.
I bet you.
I have to re-break my nose.
I am telling you this. Every time I tape my mouth shut, I get a great night's sleep. And it's not because I'm like, oh, that's just a coincidence every time. It's because I'm breathing through my nose. I'm getting deeper inhales, and that's the way you're supposed to breathe. You're not supposed to breathe through your mouth. That's not how God created us.
You know what? This is a perfect segment into what today's.
Yeah.
What today's
yeah.
Deep dives into our weird minds.
A deep dive. I have a weird mind.
Yeah.
I have a.
You go all conspiracy theory on everything.
No, I don't.
Not conspiracy theory, but you...
I actually forgot what we were talking about. That's why I was so okay with the tangent for a minute.
Yeah, forget the tangent. Yeah, today's episode. Deep dives into...
who we are, how we think.
And get a little bit more perspective.
Yeah. And we'll start with you.
Okay.
If I was to put you in the scenario, you're working... Right?
Yeah.
You've been listening to sports radio all morning, and you're sick of hearing their voices. I was about to say their names. I can't think of their names. Let's say you're sick of Bickley and Murata's voices.
Yeah.
You're sick of hearing Wolf and Luke.
Yeah.
Definitely don't want to hear Gambo's yelling voice starting at 2 o'clock. So you turn it off.
Yeah.
There's no good podcasts to listen to.
Yeah.
So you're working in silence for like an hour.
Yeah.
You find yourself, after 1 hour, you're doing an exclusion on somebody's roof.
Yeah.
What are you thinking about?
Dude. Sometimes I'm not like thinking at all. It's just like
it's impossible.
No, there's sometimes where, depending on the weather, honestly,
You just like focus so heavily on what's happening.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I don't know that like I really go into like deep thought, but like I'll be driving. A lot of times what happens, I'll be driving. I'm sick of the radio. Instead of like just slowly turning
punch that shit.
Instead of like slowly turning the dial,
Yeah.
I don't even turn the dial anymore.
You just turn the power button.
I just hit the power button, but I'll just be like, listening along, going, and then I'm like, just punch it, and then it's silent, and then I'm like, I'll like be driving, and like I am even my wife will say, like my wife hates this, but I'll be driving and I cannot just look forward. I am driving with peripheral vision, like on the 360 mode. Like I love looking at things, new construction. I'm always like, oh, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool. Focus what's in front of you, and I'm like, I have peripheral vision. Like I can see, I know what's going on even if I'm not looking. But a lot of the times,
no, you don't though.
A lot of the times
you don't. You know, it's a funny
Slamming,
story. Yeah, funny story. I'm driving. Well, where was I? Oh, it was my birthday. This is the most random thing. So it's my birthday. We go every year on my birthday. I'm like a little kid. I love going to the zoo. So we go to the zoo with my kids. We're driving home at like maybe like 2-3 o'clock ish. We're on the 202 out in the middle of nowhere, right? It was the 202 loop west or whatever. Literally in the middle of nowhere.
I forgot. I didn't even know where you're going.
We're pulling up. We're literally just rounding, and all of a sudden, far distance, I see this car.
Yeah.
Right. I'm coming up on Christian, and I know it's him, and so I'm speeding up, and I'm trying to get his attention. I'm looking over to the window, and I'm literally going the exact same speed. You know when you're like driving, and you see a car that matches your speed, and you're like, "The freak are you doing, dude? Like, leave me alone." You know?
Yeah.
You had no idea that I was there. It was 60 seconds of me trying to do this, and Ashlyn was like, he obviously is not paying attention. Let's just go. I'm like, no, I have to. I'm honking. Ashlyn's window is down. Her hair's blowing everywhere. And I'm like, hello. Trying to get your attention, bro. Mm-hmm. You were not paying any attention. And I was trying to get your attention. Finally, right before, the only reason you decided to like look over to the left is because your exit was coming up. And you were like, yeah. You're looking around, and finally you're like, I'm like, okay. Ashlyn's like, was that worth it? I'm like, no, it wasn't. Could keep going. But the chances that happened, though, that I run into you.
Yeah, it's so weird.
So weird. Anyway, that was pretty hilarious. But I know the feeling of driving and you're just so sick of any content going in your ears is like the most annoying thing ever. Yeah. So you teach it a lesson, you say, shut up. You turn it off, and then everything's all good for at least 30 minutes. Yeah. But then you find yourself.
But you just start talking to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is something I didn't realize. More people talk to themselves than you think, though. This is the thing.
Oh, I do it.
I told Ashlyn one time, I'm like, because like I began to think I was going insane because it didn't start for me until I was working at Preventive. But like I'd find myself like, I'd get upset with the radio, and then I would like find myself literally talking to myself about nothing. But then I was like going into like half schizophrenic mode where I'm like having a conversation. I'm playing like devil's advocate with myself, right? And then I'm like, I'm doing this for weeks, and I'm like, okay, babe, like I gotta tell you something. Like maybe this is so weird, but like I talk to myself sometimes. Like this is something that I do frequently. She's like, oh yeah, I do that all the time. I'm like, you do? Because like my wife's very normal, she's not a schizophrenic. And I'm like, you do? She's like, yeah, I mean not like for fun, but like if I'm by myself and I find myself just like being bored, like yeah, I'll find myself saying things out loud. And I'm like, oh, okay, well that makes me feel better.
Yeah.
But you still feel weird. But
wonder how many people, but yeah, it is weird.
Yeah.
I'll just find myself like just the weirdest things. Like I just like I'll take like a fast food place and I'll just pronounce it different.
Yeah.
I've been like
Speaking a different accent
yeah,
randomly.
like
That's how I
like
perfect some of
KFC,
my.
we'd do like right. I'd be like, I'll just be driving, it's silent, and then I'll be like, ah,
Wendy's.
be like,
That's a nice Wendy's over
yeah,
there.
and be like, ain't that something? I'm like, what am I doing? I'm so bored.
Oh, it's so relatable, dude. It's so funny.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
so bored.
Yeah. Honestly, my mind goes to weird places like that. My mind also goes to these like crazy places. So like this happens more frequent. So like when I'm out working or when I'm doing like pointless tasks, I find myself going to like schizophrenic mode, right? Where I'm like I feel like a weirdo. When I'm by myself in the house or like, you know, for example, like Ash will go to the temple sometimes and I'll be here with the boys. And she'll be out and it's like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and boys are in bed. I'm sitting on the couch watching TV, and all of a sudden I have this thought. I'm like, man, what if somebody like broke in right now? Like that would be crazy. I'd be
Yeah,
like, and then I
weird.
get, and then all of a sudden, I'm in a
You're going through
full-on
a scenario.
fight scene, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, oh, dude, I'd go ham on this guy, right? And then I'm like, well, what if he bats the gun away? What if he's got a bat on him or something?
Weird,
and I go
dude.
into these scenarios, and I will start like every last scenario possible. So that's where my mind goes when Ash isn't around and the boys are around. Like I'm like full protective mode, and I feel like every scenario is covered. I'm like, if someone busts through the window, here's what I'm doing. If someone comes in through the garage, here's my plan. If some, you know what I mean? Like that's a weird thing. And then
Yeah.
by the end of that, I'm like, I don't feel like a weirdo. I feel like a psychopath.
It's like daydreaming, but like I don't feel like I do a whole lot of daydreaming. I
feel like I do distracted dreaming.
well, I do daydreaming of like travel and like
Really?
yeah, like
I don't do a lot of that.
things that like daydreaming are like hobbies. Really is what I would, daydream about. Like me, Margot, and Olivia could do. Like
Yeah.
just like trips, whatever it might be.
I think I do that just in like a lifestyle sense. Like I daydream about like a lifestyle that like I hope to live one day.
Oh
right?
yeah, like I daydream. Because I go around and see all these different homes, from extremely nice homes to, and I just sit there and I'm like, well, if I don't do this, I'm gonna be in this situation, but I need to be in this situation. So like, what can I do? What should I not do? Like things like that. I think like that's pretty normal.
Yeah, and even just like putting yourself in scenarios like in the last episode we were kind of talking just for a second about like trailers or not trailers, RVs, right?
Yeah.
And like having an RV.
Yeah.
Like I'm in no position right now to buy an RV, but like boy would I love one.
Yeah.
So like if I find myself like getting hit with like an RV ad or something, I'll swipe up to see the price and I'm like, what would it take to like get there?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, dude, like I got kids, like we're homeschooling, so like we could technically live anywhere. Like what if we freaking sold our house, dude? What if we sold our house and we just started traveling? I'm like, no, because then we wouldn't have anywhere we wouldn't be around family and stuff. No, but we could make it like that's my thing.
Yeah.
Like, but that's like a lifestyle change, not like, trips and stuff.
What is like, let's see. This is a deep dive into us, so like what we enjoy doing. Go with you, like, other than work, right? Mm-hmm. What is like, kind of like pipe dream hobbies? Like if you had all the resources available to you, money wasn't an issue, unlimited amounts of money, like what would you do?
Like a hobby?
Like just different hobbies you enjoy.
Like myself?
I'll start off because I am a man with like, I feel 1 billion hobbies.
You what?
I'm like a man with like 1 billion hobbies. Like I feel like.
Are you? I can't.
Let's get into the rabbit hole. Okay. First off, I love cars.
That's not a hobby.
No, but it's a hobby for a lot of people. I follow a lot of. Dude,
you mean interest? Like you have
I have an interest in like supercars and like yeah. Like
I don't share that interest in the slightest.
Yeah, sure, but
But yeah.
like I want a couple supercars one day. Like I'm talking like Lamborghinis and like I do.
Mozzarella.
Mozzarella. Don't even say Maserati, dude. Get out of here. So,
Dude.
like that's a hobby, right?
Yeah.
And I owned a Camaro, not a supercar, but I owned a Camaro for
Yeah.
a short period of time.
BUMB.
And I enjoyed it. But I sold it. So, what else?
You sold that for a mom car.
I have another hobby is I love fish.
Yeah, you do love fish.
I do. I
don't
love
know
fish
why.
in nature, and then I love looking at like aquascaped, like realistic naturistic.
You ever looked at the show
tank.
Tanked?
Yeah, but
Christian's a regular. What was that
I
guy's
don't like
name?
salt water though. I love fresh water.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like emulating a river
So do
or
you like that aquarium then out in Scottsdale?
I've never been. But that's more
You
like
never been?
it's more like salt water, right? Like I
don't
love
know.
like Amazon themed like naturescape tanks with like I think I don't know, like I've owned a couple fish tanks. It's so time consuming and there's actually a lot of money that goes into it. So
Yeah.
I've kind of stopped. Like I have my fish tank still sitting in my garage
Yeah.
and every day I'm like, man, what if I just put it back up?
What if I put that fish tank up and just put dollar bills in
I'm like,
there?
I can do it. And then I realized back to this why I quit because it's so freaking
Yeah.
time consuming and
Yeah.
it's just like I don't
Fish
really.
are so weird. That is such a weird thing that you like.
Yeah, I don't know
That
why.
is the weirdest thing about you.
But I do like. But I think it comes like with nature too. Like I love rivers and lakes and like
yeah.
very big into
Well, so
that,
do I. I love that stuff too. But
super
you won't
weird.
catch me.
Like right
putting
now, I'm
fish
on a
in my
kick
house.
with Jeremy Wade's River Monsters.
Oh yeah.
I'm like binge watching, like
Yeah.
So I think it's like the first 48 for fish, and he travels everywhere, the Amazon, Africa, like.
Yeah.
But I love Nate. I love geography.
Yeah.
One of my hobbies, I love weather. Like honestly, I would love to get my like master's in meteorology.
Yeah. Go to school for 8 years to make $20K as a newscaster.
I don't want to be
Today's forecast, which we're wrong about.
I don't want to be a newscaster. I want to take that knowledge of weather and everything, and I want to storm chase hurricanes and tornadoes.
There's like 4 people in the world that can make that interesting.
Dude,
That's it.
if I could spend a day with Reed Timmer, it would be so much
You
fun.
pull your hair out, dude.
I
That guy's-
would.
Talk about a schizophrenic, bro.
Dude,
He is a weird.
drive.
Drive, Reed, drive. Reed, go. That's his name, right? His partner.
No,
in crime.
Reed Timmer is the dude that the
Oh yeah,
crazy-
what's the guy's name? Dang it! I'll insert a clip here.
Are you okay? I'm good. Joel, come on, please be positive. We miss it.
Every
That's
call you
fine.
tried to make today has been wrong.
When you can't just say every decision I made is such a statement.
Get caught in the storm.
I'm working the mat. Just press the gas. Joel, what's wrong with you? Seriously.
You're just being a. If I don't immediately
Whatever.
agree with you,
Whatever.
you get pissed off.
All right, then go get in a different car.
I may.
Dude, that guy's so funny.
Dude,
Like,
they're
truly-
telling Reed, it's literally a freaking mile wide wedge,
Yeah.
and Reed is trying to duct tape his technology, like I don't know what it is. He's trying to duct tape it to a wooden post,
Yeah.
as if that's gonna stay in a mile wide wedge.
If the post is gonna stay, that duct tape's staying. I'll tell you this: duct tape is strong, dude.
Dude, that post
Duct
is
tape
not staying.
strong.
I'm talking about F5 freaking wedge, like it's not. And so they're like telling Reed, get in the car, and he's like, no, hold on, I'm trying to I'm trying to get the,
So does Reed? You're telling me Reed has a master's degree?
Dude, he is one of the smartest meteorologists on the planet.
But he has he finished a master's degree program.
He's a
somewhere?
meteorologist, dude. He talks in like gibberish.
Yeah, fair enough. But did he complete a
I
master's
don't know.
degree?
I don't know.
Because I don't feel like he's capable of sitting through any professor. Can you imagine?
He
Reed?
works for AccuWeather. Yeah, dude is extremely intelligent when it comes to meteorology. So he probably has, but or he's just self-taught. But he's extremely intelligent. But I love the raw power of like nature. Like I want to experience.
Haboobs.
I'm so sick of that now. Like, give me a Category 5 hurricane to just.
I don't know.
It's
that seems
devastating to
crazy.
cities and people, and like that aspect of people dying and losing
Yeah.
everything they have. Like that's really sad.
Yeah.
And
you're
like,
just over here like.
I'd
bring
love
it
to
on.
be there to like help people out and stuff, but also experiencing just the raw power of like a tornado or like
Yeah.
a hurricane. I would love to storm chase. So that's another hobby. My other hobby is I grew up playing baseball and basketball. I miss playing baseball and basketball every day.
Yeah.
I could play basketball now a couple times a week. I could probably jump into it, but that's another hobby. I love playing Call of Duty. That's another hobby. Um,
I don't have very many hobbies now.
I go to the gym. I love the gym. Doing that for like 12 years. Smoking.
Yeah.
That's become a hobby.
Yeah.
I just feel like I constantly find myself. I was going to say the most interesting man in the world, but I'm far from it.
Far from it, but you do have a lot going on.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird because you can find me watching River Monsters, right? And it's like a lot of people are like, why do you even enjoy that? But I enjoy it not only for seeing the different kind of fish, but also like where those fish are located in the world and like the journey that he goes on. And like, I think that would be like just epic. And then all of a sudden you'll find me watching a top 100 video on this guy that filmed the top 100 places in the world and he's been everywhere.
Yeah.
And then you'll find me watching YouTube about, a guy I follow on YouTube and he owns a supercar collection.
Yeah.
And then literally 20 minutes later, I'll end off the night on watching some guy build a fish tank on nature. And then I'm zonked.
The fish tank thing is bizarre.
But I don't feel like anyone does that though. I feel like
That's
you
a
sit
little
down,
unique to you.
you watch a couple TV shows of The Office, and you go to bed. Like,
Yeah.
my mind is like, I get so bored of just doing like I can't just rewatch the same TV. Like, I am constantly trying to like.
It's New Girl. In which case, you watch too much New Girl.
I haven't even done that in a while, but it's just like.
But yeah, I know what you mean.
But like,
the one thing I'll say in this is like, obviously I don't share a lot of these hobbies, but like, it sounds like they're all essentially the same thing. It's just being out and about in nature. Like the storm thing, like that's just, that's a part of nature. Hiking, rivers, lakes, that's a part of nature, right? Like all the fish, that's nature, right? Like you just appreciate God's creations.
Oh yeah.
That's just that's what it is.
And even
so
when
it's like,
even when it comes to like scripture in the church, I'd be like very like I could sit down with Dad and go into like deep doctrine, like about how like life was created and worlds on end.
Dad's a good one to talk about with that stuff.
Yeah.
He's very level-headed, but he's pretty knowledgeable.
Even like where God resides, and that's actually in some
Kolob. Yeah. Well, not in Kolob. Kolob is the closest governing body to heaven. So like where the celestial kingdom is, where God resides, Kolob is the next closest governing body.
Dude,
that's deep.
It's deep. Oh, I didn't know it said that.
You should listen to that. You should go and read. You don't have to listen to it. You can read the words to the hymn. There's scriptures at the bottom of the hymn where they get like the references. Deep dive. That'll take you at least 2 hours.
We know nothing
at least 2 hours
about
of
it,
reading.
though. We know nothing about Kolob.
That's not true.
Very little.
That's not true.
Very little.
Yeah, very little. But it is in there.
Dude, the missionaries were over and we were talking about fast Sundays and how fast Sundays can get out of control real quick.
What do you mean? Like up at the pulpit?
Yeah. It can go haywire real quick.
Yeah.
And there's this member is just kind of like this middle-aged, kind of like, everyone knew she was kind of old.
Sure.
And she got up and went on a 40-minute,
She took the whole time?
The whole time. Went on a 40-minute deep dive into Kolob.
Wait, this happened in your ward?
No.
Or this is just the missionaries? Okay. That's crazy, dude.
I was like, I live for that. That's hilarious, dude.
No, that's not hilarious.
I'd be in the crowd just being like...
You're like, yay!
Keep going.
Where's my popcorn?
Dude, so funny.
Yeah. No, that's funny. I had some interesting fast Sundays on my mission too. I digress. Which is hilarious. This is a deep dive into our minds, right? And why are we talking about this? Anyway, I don't know. I don't have very many of like I think about things like that. And like, if I think about going on a trip or being outside, like I think about like having disposable income to like be able to go and do those things quite a bit. But I only get there because I think so much about work. I think about like making money. I think about new businesses, like all the things.
Yeah.
Last night I was trying to fall asleep. I set a goal. Me and Ash were trying to go to bed earlier, right? So we're like, let's try to get in bed by like between like 8:30 and 9:30, and like go to bed, right? To like see how we feel for a couple weeks, and like if it's worth it, we'll keep going. If we don't notice any difference, then who the freak cares if we stay up till 11:30 at night, right? And so I'm laying in bed last night trying to fall asleep, and I can't stop thinking about it because I had an idea about like bringing in extra money. And so I was just thinking about it. An hour and a half goes by, and I've exhausted every outcome in my mind, and I'm like, I just wasted an hour and a half because I'm not gonna do this.
I know.
I have a business.
I know.
I have so much going on, and I'm like, I don't have time for that anyway.
I know.
And my time is gone.
Yeah.
So, but I will say I do want to start another business. Like I have this like dream of like starting a business where I can sell physical products, like an e-commerce company.
It just doesn't.
Oh, it sounds so fun to me. Like,
No, it doesn't. I'm not like in the thing of just starting something to make money off of it, unless you're like interested in it. But for me, I need to chase something that I'm passionate about, and then the money will follow.
Boo! No.
Yeah, dude.
There are very few people that like can actually make money from something like that.
So much more joy comes out of it than just doing something you don't really want to do to make money.
I hear that. So like, look, I'm kind of in the position.
That's
right?
what I'm doing right now for work.
What?
I mean, what
are you talking about? Like not enjoying your work?
That's not that I like don't enjoy it, because I enjoy being out. I enjoy like talking, seeing different things.
Yeah, that's just enjoying aspects. I enjoy that. But like, do you like taking care of rodents? No, you don't. I understand that. Yeah. But like, I was in the same position, right? Like, I was trying to get away from termites, and I was trying to film weddings because I filmed some weddings. And I'm like, this is freaking fun.
Yeah, you're
like,
making money and you enjoy it.
Yeah, and like, I love weddings.
Yeah.
I love going to weddings. I love partying. I love eating the cake. I like getting to know people. I like the love stories. I love all of it. But like, the passion only takes you so far. Like, why do I find myself thinking like, man, I want to start? Because
you have other hobbies.
I want to start another business.
You have other hobbies.
No, but it's not about the hobby. It's about a business. Like, and I was thinking about this because I was literally having this conversation with Ashlyn.
Then you just like business.
Well, yes.
In general,
that's the thing. And so it's like, for me, I'm like, dude, am I just like incapable of being content? Like, can I not just like enjoy making money? Podcast. I know, but like, I'm making like more money than I made at my previous job doing something that I enjoyed 10 times more.
Yeah.
And I have double my free time that I had before, if not more than that. Enough time to where we can do this podcast, right? And like, I can produce the podcast and spend time doing that. I can spend time doing my story sessions and all the things, right? Like, I have a ton of time on my hands. Why is it that like I'm thinking about this stuff? I was talking to Ash, and I'm like, I think that I just have this like, some people will look at it and be like, oh, like you start a million businesses. Like, that's just dumb, right? Like, you can't commit to one thing. You're not good at anything, right? But like for me, it's not just about starting a bunch of businesses. I love the process of like building the business. You know what I mean? Like, 2021, I talk about it way too much, but like, I think about it all the time in terms of like 2021. That was the year that I was building my business, and I was doing both of them essentially the same amount of time, right? And I was exhausted the whole time. Like, I hated it. Like, I was wishing away those days. But then at the end of it, I finally got there, and I'm like, yeah, let's go. Like, I made it, And then it's like, the process like is done. Like, it's almost like, okay, now I'm here. I have all this extra time. Now I have the money and the things. And I'm like, okay, but like, the process of building this was like fun, right? Like, like, I felt so fulfilled in like building something, and then I built it, and I could call it my full-time gig, and like, that's super exciting. But then it's like, you hit the top of the mountain, and it's like, now the only other place to go is down. You know what I mean? And so for me, I'm like, I can look at the desire to like start another business as like, oh, I'm like burnt out on my business. But like, I don't think it's because I'm burnt out. I think I just liked the process of building it. And like, I think about it, I'm like, I could keep building my business. I could take on more clients, or I could raise my prices. Like, I could build my company, but I'm like, that's not enough of a challenge. You know what I mean? Like, the process of doing that, like, to me, isn't as worth it as like, dude, like, what if I found a product that like I enjoyed selling? and then I could go out and market it with some of my skills. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. You
what
have
if
to
I
enjoy
bought,
that.
what if
I
I
think that's the most
bought
boring thing ever.
1,000 pieces off of Alibaba.com, put my logo on it, and sold it for more? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I think about that so often.
That's just more like entrepreneurial e-commerce business. Like,
Yeah.
you have to enjoy it. Like, I actually don't enjoy that at all. What I
Oh,
want
I
to do is
do.
turn my hobbies into money. Because
Yeah.
that is way more fulfilling. Like, the whole fish thing.
I
Dude,
just feel like you get burnt out of that, though.
no, dude, like, I would love to take a warehouse and have, if I had disposable money, I'd love to take a warehouse and pimp it out in the most aesthetically pleasing, like, nature-esque design with just these modern,
Talking like Bash Pro Shops.
sort of, but like just something that's like zen, and then creating like just these insane scapes and having all this like, you know, all these different freshwater fish from everywhere, right?
Oh, you're talking like tanks and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would also love to travel. Like, where do you think these like tropical fish come from? Like tiger barbs and freaking neon, you know, neon tetras and cardinal tetras. They come from the
Seeing that I
basins
don't
of
even know those names
I
you
know.
just said, I have no idea.
Well, they come from the basins of Amazon. Some of them come from Africa. Like, I would love to do all that and then have like screens up and then have B-roll footage of me actually in those places getting the fish. Like, just, and then somehow turning that into like people can come buy different products for their stuff. Like,
Oh, you're talking about like being a shop.
sort of, yeah. Like being a shop and making money out of it, but turning it into something like you like. Also, I would love to have a barn dominium, like the dude I follow. No, I'm dead serious. Like the dude I follow in on YouTube, the Stradman. He's out of Utah, and he just built it's not a barn dominium, but it's almost like that style type home. And he has a freaking 16-car garage with a car elevator that goes down into a bat cave.
Yeah,
but that's where
crazy.
he parks all his supercars.
Yeah.
But it's like, I would love to have like 12 supercars out there, like that I would drive, not just sit there and watch, but like drive. And then
Man, you're gonna have some disposable income in your dreams
that's
here.
what I'm saying, yeah, right. Like, and then like just traveling, like with me and the family, like just traveling and just seeing everything. Because I don't feel like, I know it's like a privilege, right? If you're able to like travel everywhere and do a lot of that. But it's like, dude, at the end of the day, like if there was somehow where I didn't need any money and I could just, you know, be a good person and, you know, give all the glory to God, yet at the same time, like travel every single piece of this planet to see it all. Like, we ain't taking anything when we die. Like,
Hey, baby, let's start a business, dude.
dude, I think it would be sick. Like,
Yeah, I mean, essentially what you're talking about is like travel vlogging.
I
Making
want like being
stupid money from
just
that.
a YouTuber travel vlogging.
Yeah.
Just making like lifestyle videos, like just being yourself, enjoying like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
Honestly, it's a reality for a lot of people.
I feel
There's
like
a lot
that's-
of people that.
yeah.
And look,
I
here's
feel
the.
like that's freedom.
Oh, what you're describing is financial freedom and time freedom. That's what you're describing.
Yeah.
You have disposable income and disposable time. Those are. So look,
But like, think about real quick. Like, I'm watching River Monsters, right?
Yeah.
This dude is first off, he's a geologist.
yeah,
So he actually got I don't know if he's his PhD or like master's in geology.
sure.
But he's a geologist, right? So first off, he has that background, but he's also one of the best anglers in the world.
Yeah,
And because he has this background in geology and he knows so much about, like, he's got an advantage in like how to fish, and he knows about every single fish, and he knows their tendencies and what rods to use, what bait to use, what line to use, where to fish.
Yeah.
He goes and he talks with the locals. His whole show is based on people dying from predatory fish in rivers and lakes.
yeah.
And then he goes and does like
Trying to catch them.
he goes and does like a first 48, right? And then he figures out, you know, where these people died. He talks to the locals,
Yeah.
you know, legends behind these fish, and like, and
I
then
gotta
he
watch this
and then
show,
he
dude.
goes and tries
Give me
to
your
find
YouTube
it.
login.
Yeah, all right. I told you,
I don't want to pay.
it's cheap.
It's cheap.
But But like,
Yeah.
what I envy is the fact that he enjoys at his roots fishing in general, right?
Yeah.
Obviously,
That's what he wants to do.
Yes.
That's how he wants to spend his time.
but he's smart enough to go get, to go become a geologist, and then take this. This whole idea seems absurd, yet he's made millions and turned it into one of Animal Planet's probably one of their most successful shows.
Sure.
Like, he's got 9 seasons out.
Yeah, but like people like him are kind of the anomaly.
They are anomaly.
Like you think about like
but like, screw it.
no, I'm not saying that you can't have it. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying that like you think the guy from Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs,
Yeah.
right?
That's an
What a
anomaly.
weird concept. But that man is wildly successful because of his idea, And people that come up with these things, they put it out there, and now you're like watching it, and you're like, would you go? You can't go and make money trying to duplicate it, right? Like you'd have to do something totally different.
Yeah, like, I think, look at Casey Neistat, right? Like, the dude basically invented daily vlogging.
Yeah.
Like,
well, no,
he's not the first,
by
but like,
far not the first.
No,
he just did it to where
but
people
he made
actually
it so
cared.
popular.
Yeah,
and it's like you watch his videos and like, this is so stupid, but it's so funny because you got to know Casey.
Yeah, it's about Casey. That's what it's about.
It's about, and it's just like there's so much dry humor in there.
Yeah.
That like,
Yeah.
just it doesn't like, but you
Point being,
like, I think nowadays it's so much more like you have an idea. Ideas back then were ideas you either get mocked or laughed at and be like, whatever. But
Yeah.
now any idea, honestly, the sky's the limit.
no,
Dude, it's not
it is.
far.
No, it is. I'm not disagreeing.
And
with
I
that.
think because
I'm
of
saying
video
people still mock
production.
you though.
Oh, they'll still
People still
mock you.
mock you.
Yeah.
Like when I dude, Dad didn't believe me that I was quitting his company
Yeah.
until I was actually in there saying, "Hey, I'm putting in my 2 weeks." He's like, "What? What do you mean? What are you gonna do?" I'm like, "Dad, I'm a videographer.
Yeah.
I'm a wedding videographer. Oh, well, I don't know if I'll be able to hire you back on if you quit, man. Like someone's gonna take over the termite route. I don't think I'll get that back to you." I'm like, "Keep it."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like he was not the first person. Like people ask me still. They're like, "Oh, so like the video thing, like, does that keep you busy?" I'm like, "Yeah, it keeps me busy."
Yeah.
People mock it, dude.
Yeah.
People think that you have this idea to like go out and do something. They think that it's stupid because they won't do it.
Yeah.
They look at the situation. Hey, I want to fish for a living, but I want to go to like these crazy local towns, like somewhere in like the Amazon River, and ask about people that have died from some of these like river monsters. Do you know what his family probably said to him? "You crazy. Don't come back to freaking Sunday dinner. Don't come around here again, wacko." But here he is making millions, So like people will still mock
Like
you.
Bear Grylls.
He really is crazy. He probably is not accepted around his family.
But dude, I mean, look.
The dude's a psycho. But yeah, like people will mock you for your idea. But like the difference between the people that make them, like Stradman, right? He's such a weird guy. He's so weird and he's so spazzy. Can't watch him. Some people watch him. You watch him all the time.
Oh,
You know the difference between the Stradman and people that watch the Stradman? Is Stradman is actually comfortable putting a camera in front of his face for 5 seconds and putting it out there.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about this guy, but I'd assume his first video didn't come, like he didn't get famous because he had a supercar. It's probably because he found somebody that had a supercar and was like, "Hey man, here," in classic Stradman, like, "I don't like this guys, just this car."
Oh, his first videos were cringy.
Yeah.
He just,
but like he did it, he kept at it, and like
yeah.
here he is.
Yeah.
This is a perfect episode of deep dive into our minds.
I
We
just-
have ADHD. We couldn't stay on topic for like
Yeah,
5
I do.
seconds.
I seriously can't. I can't stay on topic with anything.
Yeah.
But like I enjoy all of that.
Yeah.
And it makes me want like also if you want to get deeper, like I want a home in Texas. I want a home in Florida. I want a home in Tennessee.
Jeez. And you want supercars, huh?
Yeah, but like
Gotta get
the
to
other
work, boy.
reason I want homes in those areas is because there's a lot of areas where tornadoes and hurricanes happen.
So you can just bust them down and rebuild them every
So
5
like
seconds.
no, like I'd build it in mind to obviously like tornadoes, that's different. You can
Yeah.
kind of build in mind for like maybe hurricanes, but like I would like if I knew like I'd watch like the weather and stuff. Like I keep up to date on like extreme weather events around the United States. Like
Yeah.
like if I would just hop on a plane and book it down to my place.
Yeah.
And then I just waited, like I'd wait for the
wait on the
storm and
porch.
be like, let's go.
Come on.
Yeah.
Crazy, dude.
Dude, but like,
I want nothing to do with it. I was in Nebraska a couple weeks ago.
yeah, the tornado. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there in the hotel room, and I'm like looking at the weather for the next day, and I see tornado watch. I'm like, I ain't never seen that before. That doesn't pop up on
Dude,
my Arizona weather app.
He's so sick.
I'm like, I was getting nervous. Like for real, I was trying to like keep it
sick.
cool, but I'm like, that's scary. Like I knew there was not going to be a tornado.
It's
but like
well, you don't know
the fact that it said tornado watch, I'm like, oh, dude,
that's a pretty good chance.
I'm like, I can't handle this.
Dude,
Anyway.
that'd be so sick.
Dude, I think that it would be last thing I'll say on this, at least for my part. I think that it would be sick to do because like I love documenting things. Like obviously I'm a videographer, right? I think it'd be so sick to do like a start to finish. Like I'm gonna take this business that has $0 in revenue, and I'm gonna grow it to like 100K in a year. You know what I mean? And just like freaking go for it. So sick, and just document the whole process.
Yeah, you could.
200K, 300K, a milli.
Yeah, I mean that sounds boring, but yeah.
No, it's not boring.
Documented e-commerce. I don't think it's gonna get much views.
No, not e-com. It's not about e-commerce. I don't care. Like if I buy golf balls, put my logo on it, sell the golf balls. Nobody cares about my golf balls. People care about the business.
You know what? Yeah, but
people care about the process.
Yeah, I guess.
Like,
but
hey, here's how I took this business that was an idea in my mind. Here's how you can make 100K in 12 months.
people care about entertainment though.
Make it entertaining. But the idea is
I'll tell
building an
you-
e-commerce business.
I'll tell you what's
Crazy enough,
entertaining.
bro. I know you're over here, Mr. Nature Man. Okay. Some people, their hobbies is e-commerce.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
it's boring as crap.
It's
dude.
not. It's really not.
Boring. Yeah.
It's a business.
No, dude. That's
I wanna
not.
do it. Maybe that's a good idea.
Not what life is about.
No.
E-commerce is not what life's about.
Look, if take Kobe for example. Kobe's a fisherman,
Yeah.
angler. What do you
Yeah.
call him? Fisher sounds weird. Fisherman.
Call it
Kobe
angry.
likes to fish.
Yeah.
I cut all that out because I sound like a weirdo. Kobe likes to fish, right? If Kobe decided, like, oh, I'm going to turn my hobby into something that I can sell, right? So maybe he buys a $500,000 freaking those little bass bait things, right? The little
Yeah.
neon baits, right? And, put his own little twist on it, bought like a $500,000, freaking sold them all. Then he's supporting his goal of being.
No, it's not going to
know,
work because no one
No, you
knows who
can't.
he is. What
No,
what
obviously.
he needs to do is
But he could build a business around his hobby.
Yeah, but
Like the same way you could build a business around your fish.
you can't build a business unless you've built a following.
No, that's not true, bro.
Dude, it so
no, it's not
is.
true. There's a thing called advertising. You can go on there
Yeah, but
and you can
but you're not
put
releasing.
paid ads.
You're
up.
not releasing merch until like if we just released
Paid ads.
if we just
E-commerce
released
isn't-
480 merch on day one, it's like who the heck's the 480?
Well,
and
that's
who's gonna buy
different.
it?
No, that's different.
Yeah, it
because
is.
we're a lifestyle thing. People have to know what the 480 show is.
It's like Meat Church.
if you saw
You're not buying. You want to buy Meat Church stuff because he is one of.
right, but that's a lifestyle thing, right?
Yeah.
Meat Church is about his brand.
That's what's entertaining. Though.
But yeah, but like people realistically go online and buy golf balls because they just like golfing. They don't even care what it is. They
Sure.
just like the price point.
Yeah.
Right. If they see an ad that says, "Hey, subscribe to this thing, you'll get 12 golf balls every month for $5."
See, yeah,
right?
you could do it, yeah.
You don't need a logo. It could be a plain white
know.
golf ball, and you can get people to do it as long as you know how to advertise it.
Yeah.
You get the little ad thing going. But like again, Kobe could take that. He knows something about fishing that a lot of people don't care to know or learn or whatever. He could just say, "Hey, this is why this is good." Throw it in front of people's eyes, and they could subscribe and get a certain amount of those things every month. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I mean-
And he could build a business around it, and then he could have his own baits for free. And then he could take his thing, his business, and it could fund him going out and fishing all the time.
Yeah, but I don't think it really takes a whole lot of money or anything. I think it just takes desire. Like what's his face that scuba dives in the rivers and finds
I don't know who this is.
the Jake dude, Scuba Jake. He literally has scuba diving gear and he goes and scuba dives in all like rivers and lakes where a lot of people hang out in, and he finds lost
random
iPhones, GoPros, wedding rings, everything, and he's created like a YouTube channel and like 12.
See, that's interesting.
Like
I'd watch
12
that.
million subscribers.
Yeah,
All
I've
he
never
does
heard
is
of that.
dive. He dives in some sick areas like crystal clear, like rivers in Florida, like the Everglades, like
Yeah.
and he's just finding different things, and he come across,
Yeah.
So, but like that dude took that passion. He loved being in rivers and diving, and he just made a YouTube channel of it.
Yeah.
Now it's super successful.
Yeah.
Or like Dude Perfect.
Yeah, but you're talking anomalies here.
Dude, but I don't think it
there's
is. I think it's just having an idea you're passionate about, and if you can make some
Yeah.
good content,
For sure. But like again, there's 450
That's
million
entertaining.
Americans in this country.
yeah. And look at all the anomalies. Like some of Dude Perfect.
Dude, I know. I remember watching their first videos.
It's like the
I remember.
stupidest thing.
Yeah.
Yet you're so grabbed and entertained by it, and it's like
Yeah.
that's so stupid, but it's actually so cool at the same time.
Yeah, I get it.
Like I would love to go to like they just released.
I feel like they have to do something practical first, and then a big dream follows because they have revenue capable of supporting that dream. Because essentially what this is, Mike Rowe, River Monster Guy, Dude Perfect, all the things. Dude Perfect, they almost quit, right?
Yeah.
Did you watch their documentary? They almost quit because they couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, we're going to split. And then they're like, no, let's give it one more shot. And that was when they started to take off, right? But they couldn't build Dude Perfect amusement park in freaking where in Texas or Tennessee, wherever the freak they're at right now.
No.
They couldn't do that until they actually were practical
you have
about
to
their business.
You have to create.
Yeah, they had to create stuff.
That's what I'm
But
saying.
but like again, Mike Rowe.
You're creating a story. You're creating something that people can attach themselves to and follow. And I think that's where all these anomalies and people get so successful, right?
Yeah.
Like you're creating a character in and of yourself, but you have to be passionate about it.
Yeah.
Stradman has an insane amount of passion for what he does, and that's why he's successful.
Yeah.
Dude never loses energy video to video. He's super real with his whole content. Like as of recently, he talks about how he's almost bankrupt because he built his dream home.
Yeah.
And he built it during COVID, and he went like $1.75 million over budget to build it, or the bank was going to foreclose. So he built it, and he's talking about like, I'll be fine. Like he had to sell a lot of his cars.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll be fine. I'll just make dope videos. We'll just make some sick content. Like I'll sell, like we'll get through it. No worries. But he's like being upbeat because he's still like, because he knows like he'll be fine. But like, he's not far off from being bankrupt.
I feel like there are plenty of people that can turn a passion into a business as long as you make the steps to do it. But for the most part, I feel like most people just have to like.
That's the problem.
They have to make a
Gary
living
Vee
first.
talks about it.
Gary Vee's a psycho, man.
Dude, he is a psycho. But like one of the only things I agree with him. Have you seen the Theo Vaughn?
Yeah.
On Gary Vee.
Yes. I'm telling you, dude. Theo Vaughn's all over my Instagram. I can't stop seeing him.
Where he's like, "What's wrong with that guy?" He'll go to a couple and tell him to sell your
silverware.
Sell your silverware, man. You gotta sell it. And then like he'll hug him and congratulate him, and then he just rides off into the distance. And these dudes are left with a box in their living room. He's like, "But you're $80 closer." He's a freaking psychopath.
Anyway, so the thing you agree with,
The great thing is, he said, forget the money.
Yeah.
Because honestly, and even Dave Ramsey talks about this, people in their 60s and 70s have become millionaires within like 5 years, right? Like you can always find a way to chase money and make the money.
Yeah.
But that's not really, I don't feel like you're just going to get, like, unless you love the business aspect or unless you love the grind of like just getting money.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like true happiness comes when you're chasing a passion.
Yeah.
And when you're doing something that you actually enjoy that doesn't feel like work.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
When you're waking up and you're like, this isn't work, I'm actually excited. Like, because I get more excited on the weekends. Like, I talk about this all the time. Like, I don't hate, like, I love aspects of my job and then I hate aspects of my job.
Yeah.
Like, I don't enjoy aspects of my job just because simply it's like, it's not enjoyable
It's
work.
rodents, yeah.
Or working outside, like when it's super hot.
It's hot.
Like
It's
sometimes
labor.
of the year I love it. I'm outside. I'm a tech. Like I don't have anyone watching over me in an office. I'm not being, hovered over, things like that.
Sure.
Like that's great. But like I find myself at times, right, and this kind of gets me in trouble, like I will have no issue getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning and prepping a pork butt and throwing it on, because like that excites me of like getting out there, smoking some meat, like, because I'm like, oh yeah. Or like I would have no problem, like I could get up every single day at like 3:30 a.m.
If you were excited about it.
if I was excited about, like, if I knew like we were doing a day trip,
Yeah.
like, or if I knew I was going on vacation.
Yeah.
Like, I love the journey of traveling. I love the aspect of like,
Yeah.
you know, packing, getting my stuff ready, hopping in the car. It's 4 a.m. I'm driving out because I know that I really enjoy getting to that beach. And I know I have a week of just pure enjoyment. Like, I have no issue. But then, like, when it comes to work, I'm like, give me a break. I don't want to wake up. I don't want to wake up. Like, you know, you couldn't even get me up at freaking 6:30 to go to work. Like, so I think when you get to a point where,
your passion takes over, and that is something that you
and that's where all the anomalies come into place.
Yes, but like what you don't see on, like, you know, you're watching Dude Perfect and you're watching them, you know, on their live tour, and they're running around and squirting each other with foam and dunking basketballs and all the things. What you don't see is there's an extreme amount of work that went into that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the disconnect.
Yeah, but that's not going to feel like work though.
No, but it does. Because like I'll say this, if someone like me, right, the process of building it, it's work, but like that's the exciting part for me.
Yeah.
That's the part where I would feel like, dude, this is freaking sick. I, knowing myself, if I was Dude Perfect, if I was one of the dudes there, right, building that show, building the following, getting out there, like doing all that work, like it would be like fulfilling, hard work, but fulfilling. We'd be like, you know, we'd make it. I'd be like, okay, what's next? Like, what are we going to do? You know what I mean? Like, knowing myself, I'm Dude Perfect on the stage, shooting my buddies with a bunch of foam, making millions. And I'm like, what's next?
I think
that's
what's next within their passion though.
Yeah, if you have room to grow, right, and you have a passion that you can grow, right? For example, like the business thing excites me, not because like I do want to make $1 million. Everybody wants to make $1 million. But like I don't want to chase business because it's money. Like I want to build a business where like I can grow it and continue to grow it and have like real decisions to make in the business, right? Like, should we do this? Like, should we spend all this money on this to grow it, right? Like taking risks and like, you know what I mean? Like the process of like a business, you know, like that's the thing for me that like, I don't know. But like, again, I feel like where our two paths connect is like, there's this process of like building. And I feel like the people that are successful are the ones that like can enjoy and ride out that process. And then it's like people finally see you when you've like kind of arrived in that area. And these anomalies come from people that like, they are truly passionate about what they're doing. And it shows. And like they are perfectly content doing what they're doing. River Monster guy, right? Like I'm sure he could film 3,000 episodes and be just as excited about pulling some weird slimy fish out of some river.
You have to find yourself being content. Otherwise, you're not ever gonna like get that level of happiness. Like you can have your hands in a bunch of different ventures. But if it's all around like the same aspect,
if it's for money, that's different. That's wrong. Not wrong.
Yeah.
That's not going to find you any happiness.
Exactly.
If you have your hand in a bunch of ventures because you enjoy the process of building, that's different.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't think there's anything wrong with like, you know, your dream of like being out in nature and finding a way to document it and all the things.
No, like you could get me to live in a van. I could live very simplistically, like in a van, traveling everywhere. You know, going to Yosemite and Yellowstone and like everywhere, like every single city or every single state in the United States, right? Like going everywhere, living very simplistically and not even having a lot of money. Yeah. But just all those different experiences, like I wouldn't care. You know, like that's not really realistic with the wife and kids. Like it could be. Like there are a lot of families that travel, but like you know, have to be in on that.
Probably wouldn't be a van. Probably have to go RV.
But like if we're doing a deep dive, like you know, like that's for me it's like that's
that would be happiness.
Yeah. And a lot of the anomalies in people that have made it, like
It's funny because they'll acknowledge it.
Like, but most of them came from nothing though.
Yeah.
Like nothing.
Yeah.
Like Stradman had to sleep in his car.
Yeah.
And
But that's a process though, and a part of him had to enjoy it.
I'm sure.
Not just chasing the passion,
Yeah.
but enjoying the process of building that piece.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't convince me that he's not a businessman at heart either. Like you think that he's just like naturally good at running a business and budgeting and all the things. Get out of here, dude.
yeah.
The dude has to love business because he's intelligent.
I don't think he really loves business, but he's smart enough to like
I disagree
create
with
a
you.
business off his brand. I don't really think he loves business at all. His sole passion is just supercars. It is.
Yeah, but that's not his business. His business is marketing himself and his love for supercars,
Yeah. His
That's
business
his
is creating a brand himself.
which supports his love for supercars.
Now it does, but even if he didn't have the money, he still would love supercars. Point being, like, I think all the anomalies are because they're so passionate and they're like I don't think it's complicated. I think it's simple. Dude Perfect loved hanging out with their friends and they had a hoop and they loved just playing basketball and doing stupid things.
Yeah.
And that's where their phrase came from.
Yeah.
Dude Perfect. Like,
Dude, perfect.
and that's how they came up with it, but like it wasn't hard for them. Like, let's just grab a
just
camera
have a
and
good
make
time.
trick shots.
Yeah.
And put it to YouTube.
Their first video, I'll never forget it.
But I think that's also, I don't think without video,
I was gonna say the
any
common
of these
denominator in
anomalies
all of
is
these-
video
Yeah.
and being able to upload it. It's all entertainment. The whole common denominator is entertainment. If you can be passionate about something and create entertainment,
Video's better.
if you can create a brand
Yeah.
that people enjoy following,
Yeah.
it's
It's true.
merch.
I don't know how the freak we ended up here. Because when we first started out.
I think it's just deep dive.
Yeah.
But I think we share the same similarities on, like,
Yeah, for sure.
somehow, some way. Like,
Look, at some point or another, this podcast is actually going to make it somewhere. And I feel like it's going to give us an opportunity to, like, chase after some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, for real. But
not only for us, but
for the fam, dude. Yeah.
I think living, obviously I think the main goal for everyone is financial peace, and then just
Time freedom, dude.
time freedom.
That's it, guys. This is a longer episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed the deep dive that we had into our minds and obviously our little ADHD tangents that we went on. But we appreciate it so much. If you want to give us a follow at the 480 Show, pretty much everywhere you go on all the social channels. This is the last week that you have. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast, go on, leave a 5-star review. We will put your name in a hat. If you leave a review, okay, you can't just leave us 5 stars. There's a few people that have done that, but we need a review. Reviews help us a lot more than just the 5 stars. 5-star review. Leave us a comment. Maybe just your favorite part of the whole. Why you do that every time? You leave us a 5-star review. Favorite part of the episode. Favorite thing that we talk about. If you do this, we will put your name in a hat, and on next week's episode, we'll pull one of the names from the hat, and we'll Venmo you $25. So it's coming from Christian's Venmo, and so it's going to be a good time. So make sure to do that. Leave us a 5-star review. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss any further episodes. And if you want to join the conversation, like I said, at the 480 Show, everywhere you go, we'd love to have you be a part of the conversation with us. But that's it for this week.
That's it.
Till next time.
Till next time.
Deuces.
Deuces.